Honorable Marco Mendicino, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, tabled the 2021 to 2023 Immigration Levels Plan, which sets out a path for responsible increases to immigration targets to help the Canadian economy recover from COVID-19, drive future growth and create jobs for middle-class Canadians. The pandemic has highlighted the contribution of immigrants to the well-being of Canadian communities, and across all sectors of the economy. The healthcare system relies on immigrants to keep Canadians safe and healthy. Other industries, such as information technology companies and the farmers and producers, also rely on the talent of newcomers to maintain supply chains, expand their businesses, and, in turn, create more jobs for Canadians.
Although Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada (IRCC) continued to accept and process applications throughout the pandemic, the global travel restrictions and capacity constraints led to a shortfall in admissions over the last several months. To compensate for the shortfall and ensure Canada has the workers it needs to fill crucial labor market gaps and remain competitive on the world stage, the 2021 to 2023 Levels Plan aims to continue welcoming immigrants at a rate of about 1% of the population of Canada, including 401,000 permanent residents in 2021, 411,000 in 2022, and 421,000 in 2023. The previous plan set targets of 351,000 in 2021 and 361,000 in 2022. The health, safety, and security of Canadians remain the top priorities. Canada has strengthened health screening at the border, as well as monitoring and enforcement, and will continue to closely follow the advice of public health officials as it welcomes newcomers. This multi-year Levels Plan recognizes the importance of family reunification and Canada's global commitment to protecting those most at risk through refugee resettlement. Highlights of the plan include
an increase in admissions over the 3 years of the plan to make up the shortfall in 2020, a focus on economic growth, with about 60% of admissions to come from the economic class, a continued focus on innovative and community-driven approaches to address diverse labor and demographic needs across the country, a renewed commitment to capacity building and digital transformation in Canada's immigration system to support operations and mitigate the impacts of COVID-19 on the processing of applications. Additional points for French-speaking candidates under express entry to promote the growth of Francophone communities outside of Quebec. A commitment to admit up to 500 refugees over the next 2 years through the Economic Mobility Pathways Project, an innovative approach that helps qualified refugees apply for permanent residence through existing economic immigration pathways, a pathway to permanent residency for eligible asylum claimants who are working on the front lines of the pandemic between March 13th and August 14th, 2020, providing direct care to patients in healthcare institutions. The 2021 to 2023 Immigration Levels Plan will help cement Canada's place among the world's top destinations for talent, creating a strong foundation for economic growth while reuniting family members with their loved ones and fulfilling Canada's humanitarian commitments.
Immigration is essential to getting us through the pandemic, but also to our short-term economic recovery and our long-term economic growth. Canadians have seen how newcomers are playing an outsized role in our hospitals and our care homes, and helping us to keep food on our table. As we look to recovery, newcomers create jobs not just by giving our businesses the skills they need to thrive, but also by starting businesses themselves. Our plan will help to address some of our most acute labor shortages and to grow our population to keep Canada competitive on the world stage. Stated by Honourable Marco E.L. Mendicino, PC, MP, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship.
Quick facts. Immigrants account for 33% of all business owners with paid staff, and 25% of workers in the health sector are immigrants. The Immigration and Refugee Protection Act requires the Levels Plan be tabled in Parliament each year. The Levels Plan is a projection of how many permanent residents will be admitted to Canada, setting targets and ranges for overall admissions, as well as for each immigration category. The Levels Plan takes into account extensive engagement with provincial and territorial representatives, as well as public opinion research and stakeholder consultations. Canadians across the country can see how newcomers are benefiting local communities through IRCC's Immigration Matters campaign. Under the Canada-Quebec Accord, Quebec establishes its own immigration levels.
Immigrants contribute to the economy and create jobs for Canadians.
The strength of Canada's economy is measured in part by the number of people working, known as the labour force, and paying taxes to fund the public services, such as healthcare. Thanks to immigration, Canada's labour force continues to grow by a small amount every year. If it weren't for immigrants, employers would have trouble finding enough qualified workers to fill available jobs. This is because Canadians are living longer and having fewer children. More people are retiring, and there are fewer students in schools. As a result, the pool of Canadian-born existing and potential workers is limited. Immigrants contribute to Canada's economy, not only by filling gaps in the labour force and paying taxes, but also by spending money on goods, housing and transportation. Supporting the aging population.
Canada's worker-to-retiree ratio is 4-to-1. By 2035, when 5 million Canadians are set to retire, the ratio will be down to 2-to-1, meaning there will be only 2 workers for every retiree. Immigration alone cannot solve this challenge, but it can help Canadians look to keep the economy growing and maintain the commitments to health care, public pensions, and other social programs. More than 80% of the immigrants have admitted in recent years are under 45 years old, meaning they will have plenty of working years in Canada. Meeting the labor market needs.
Some employers are already having trouble finding Canadian-born workers to fill jobs. More than 6 in 10 immigrants are selected for their positive impact on the economy. The top 5 occupations of people invited to immigrate under our Express Entry program are as follows: software engineers and designers, information systems analysts, computer programmers, financial auditors and accountants, advertising, marketing and public relations professionals. Immigrant entrepreneurs contribute to economic growth by creating jobs, attracting investment to Canada, and driving innovation. Many immigrants have excellent science, technology, engineering and math, STEM, skills, and they make up about half of all STEM degree holders in Canada. These skills are important in our knowledge economy. For immigrants to find work in Canada, it's important to make sure their education, training, and experience meet Canadian job standards. IRCC are working with employers, provinces, and territories to make this happen as quickly as possible. Immigrants can also fill labor market needs by taking on jobs that Canadians are not interested in doing. Filling temporary labor needs.
Temporary foreign workers are an important part of the Canadian workforce. They help employers meet labor needs when qualified Canadians or permanent residents aren't available. Temporary workers support the success and growth of many industries, such as agriculture and agri-food, healthcare and technology. In 2019, about 400,000 people were issued temporary work permits. Workers are thoroughly screened to protect the health, safety, and security of Canadians. Sustaining Canada's education system through international students.
International students contribute more than $21 billion to the economy every year through student spending and tuition. Their spending amounts to more than Canada's exports of auto parts, lumber, or aircraft. International education is an essential pillar of Canada's long-term competitiveness. Students from abroad who study in Canada expose Canadians to new cultures and ideas. This stimulates innovation and develops important cross-cultural competencies. If these students choose to immigrate to Canada, they contribute to Canada's economic success. In 2019, 827,586 international students held study permits in Canada, and more than 58,000 former international students immigrated permanently. International students represent 27% of all students enrolled in math, computer and information sciences programs, 19% of all students enrolled in architecture, engineering and related programs. Many students in science, technology, engineering and mathematics fields will stay and build their careers in Canada. They will help build a stronger economy for the future. Boosting trade.
Many immigrants are entrepreneurial. Beyond creating jobs for Canadians, immigrant-owned businesses improve trade ties to Canada. Immigrants often have a desire for goods from their home country, which broadens the variety of imports available to all Canadian consumers. Immigrants are also able to export more because of their networks in their home countries.
Immigrants deliver and improve the health and social services.
Because many immigrants are young and economically active, they contribute more than they receive in benefits over their lifetime. According to the 2016 census, more than 335,000 immigrants work in health-related occupations.
Immigrants are thoroughly screened and respect the laws.
IRCC thoroughly screen immigrants before they arrive to make sure they have not committed serious crimes, don't pose a security risk, and are in good health. Immigrants who don't respect the laws risk losing their immigration status and being removed from Canada. Immigrants integrate fully into Canadian society.
Immigrating to Canada is an adjustment at first, but with time, immigrant voting rates, sense of belonging and earnings match those of Canadians. Canada has one of the highest naturalization rates in the world. About 85% of newcomers become citizens.
Making a living. Overall immigrant and refugee earnings match the Canadian average about 12 years after arrival. However, some economic immigrants, those selected for their Canadian experience, or nominated by a province or territory, catch up much more quickly, within their first year in Canada. Community participation. Immigrants are active in Canadian society. In 2016, 1/3 of immigrants volunteered and 2/3 were members of social organizations.